Hi there, in this video we're going to look at layers. We're going to do some adjustments to this image all on different layers so we can see the different effects and really just get to understanding how layers work. All right, let's get started in this video. Okay, so first thing to do is let's go up to File and let's go to Open. Now, from the files that you've downloaded, okay, open up O1 Layers. Okay, this image comes to us free from Milos Tronchinski. I practiced that. Let's open them up. Thanks, Milos. So the first thing we need to do is make sure you can see a layers panel. Mine's over here. If you can't see it, go to Window and just make sure the tick is on layers. What we might do is see this libraries panel here. We're going to look at him later in the course, but he takes up quite a lot of screen real estate. Now, my screen's quite big. Yours is probably not. When I'm working on my laptop, see these little double chevrons? I always go through and just close this down, okay, just to give yourself a little bit more room. Okay, so down here in my layers panel, I've got one layer. By default, when you're opening up a JPEG, you'll get given the word background and it'll be locked, okay? What we want to do is right click the background, okay, and go to this one that says duplicate layer. We're going to give it a name. We're going to call ours auto tone, okay, and that's the first of the automatic features. We're going to click OK. Now it hasn't changed anything. I've just got two layers sitting on top of each other. Okay, I've got auto tone and auto background. Now with the auto tone layer selected, okay, it's kind of this light gray, or in earlier versions of Photoshop, it's kind of a blue color. So with it selected, let's go up to image and let's go to auto tone. You ready? Stand back and pretty cool, huh? Pretty cool little automatic feature. Now what auto tone's doing is it's looking at the highlights, midtones, and shadows and trying to find kind of a better than the original we had. Okay, so it goes and does that for us. A nice little quick automatic feature. When do I use that? I use that quite a lot when I'm doing maybe images that they're not going to be like the front cover of a magazine or the hero image for a design. It's just, I want a quick fix. Okay, I've taken them on my phone or something and they're not quite perfect. I'm going to go through and use something like auto tone before I say upload them to social media. So over here in my layers panel, the thing to look at is auto tone. Okay, it's a little hard to see. The thumbnails are slightly different. What we can do is turn the eyeball off on this auto tone layer. Just click the eye right in the middle. Okay, and now we can see the layer underneath, which is the background. So the background's still there, he's protected, he's not being wrecked, okay? And I can turn this top one on and off easily to compare the two. Now, when you're working with layers, you're always looking from the top down. So imagine you're always a bird flying above and you can see auto tone, and I could turn the eye on and off for background, but nothing happens, okay? It's because auto tone's covering it, okay? So I could turn you off and then you off. Okay, so that's, I guess what we're doing in this video is getting an understanding of layers. Let's do the next of the automatic features. So let's turn off the eyeball. Okay, so I've turned off auto tone. Let's select the background layer and right click it again and go to duplicate layer. Let's look at the other feature. Okay, it's called auto contrast and let's click OK. Then with that layer selected, it should be automatically. Let's go to image and let's go one of the other options. Okay, it's better. Okay, the colors are a bit strange still. So note that we've used auto contrast and it's given us a result. Now let's compare it to auto tone by turning on this auto tone layer, on, off, on, off. Sometimes it can be a little hard in this course to see the differences depending on the video quality that you're kind of receiving. So I can see a really clear difference between, I like auto tone better, like stronger darks. Now don't think auto contrast is just broken or doesn't work. Okay, what you'll find is it depends on the image. Sometimes I open up stuff and auto tone does a horrible job, auto contrast does a great job. So open up your image and basically test all three of these. Okay, figure out which is the best, and then say you've got another 10 images to do, then as long as they're kind of photographed in a similar sort of situation, you can often not have to try all three. Just go to the one that works. So we've got auto tone, which is nice, my favorite, auto contrast and background. So let's turn the two eyes off on this top one. Let's look at the last of those automatic features. Right click background. Let's go to duplicate layer, call it auto tone. Nope, we're using auto color, and let's click OK. Let's go up to image and let's test out this one. Pretty good. Okay, it's pretty close to auto tone. Now, if I turn them all on, what I want to do is, I know auto contrast is not that great. So I'm gonna turn it off. And what happens is, if I have this off, remember you're the bird flying on top. If I wanna compare auto tone with color, Okay, I can turn auto tone at the top, and as long as auto contrast is off, if I turn this eyeball off, you'd imagine you're seeing auto color. Turn it back on. You can kind of see I'm toggling between these two here, okay, to see the difference. You have to experiment a little bit and play around, okay. If it makes it a little easier, sometimes like this guy here, you can just select on him and click on the trash can, okay, if he's wrong, okay, keeps the layers a little bit tidier. You can also drag them. Let's say that we want auto contrast on the bottom, so we want it underneath auto color. Not underneath background, okay, he's at the back. So click, hold, and drag auto contrast, and you'll see that, can you see this little blue line appears? Okay, that little blue line, it's a little hard to see, that's where he's gonna go. Okay, I would like you to play around. I'm gonna set you a little task. I would like you to have I want them alpha numeric order. So auto, oh my ABCs, auto colors at the top, then auto contrast, and then auto tone at the bottom. Okay, just to practice dragging them. That's all I want you to do really. And you'll notice that the difference between say auto color and auto contrast on the video, it might be so minutely different, just a slight color change. And then it's up to personal preference. Do you like auto color better or auto tone better? Now you could go through, open up a bunch of images and just run that one automatic feature. All right, so that's a basic introduction to layers, and we looked at some of the cool little automatic features in Photoshop. Now we're going to use layers all throughout this course, so if you're finding like, man, heck, that was confusing with layers, don't worry, we're going to kind of work through them every video looking at layers and you'll get a bit more comfortable with them. One of the things we'll have to do before we go though is save this document. Now we opened it up, remember it was a JPEG when we opened it. Now if I go to File, Save, okay, it's going to say, you can't be a JPEG. Why is that? JPEG can't have more than one layer. JPEG just have the background layer and that's it. If you had not created these other layers, it would have just saved over the top of the original. Okay, but Photoshop says, hey, you can't be a JPEG, so you're gonna have to be this Photoshop file. It's a PSD, there he is there. Okay, and I'm happy for you to save it straight back into the source files using the same name. The only thing different will be the PSD. Don't change any of the settings, okay, and just click Save. This little Photoshop format options opens up every single time. Don't worry about this, okay? It just means that Photoshop's asking, if I save this as a PSD, do you want me to save it as a maximum compatibility version? And all that means is that it's more likely to open in really old versions of Photoshop. Okay, so I always leave this on. It makes the file size slightly bigger, but just leave it on and click on Don't Show Again because it's not something that needs to pop up every time. I'm going to leave mine on because I'm an instructor and I need to explain this thing. It's a pain, but hey ho, let's leave it on there. Let's click OK. Cool. So let's finish this off by going to File and Close. And before you go, let's practice that. So let's go to File and go to Open. And I want you to, on your own, open up the O2 layers, the Tavern Dodson. Thank you very much for the image. Let's click Open. And I'd like to set you a task. I want you to go through, duplicate the background layer. You'll end up with 4 layers in total. Okay, and I want you to practice with these 3 different automatic features. Then I want you to reorder them to the one at the top that you feel is the best. Remember, it's not always 100% perfect, okay? It's a bit of personal judgment, but drag the one that you think is the best to the top of the layers group, okay, and stack them up. Just a bit of practice. All right, I'll see you in the next video where we are going to look at a little bit more of Photoshop kind of foundations, where we show you how to work with multiple images, kind of copy and paste from one to the other and how that works. All right, I will see you in the next video.